Hey, spooky party people, I'm Artemis Prime, and we are back. We have returned. We are coming back to Paranormasight and the 7 Mysteries of Honjo. Last time we were Yako Sakazaki. We were going through her storyline, and we were communicating through a spirit board with Mio. And then Mio died, and then we died, and then we were like, hey, let's try that again, and it told us we need more story. Similar to what happened with Haruhi Shigima, where we can't continue her story till we get more story, because there's not enough story to continue their stories. And the only story left is Tetsuo Tsutsumi. This dude, which I've been avoiding for no reason other than he's not an attractive female. Anyway, Shogo Okie, if you remember from the first several episodes, he's dead. He's gone. I think his story's fully over, even though last time I was hoping there'd be a way to save him somehow. But after playing through Yako Sakazaki's story, I think he just dead. He gone. That's the only way for these two to have a continuing storyline. Tetsuo did not have much in his story, so we get to find out what goes on with him. And June, Erio, his subordinate. Tetsuo Tsutsumi, Chief Inspector of the Metropolitan Police Department, 1st Investigative Division, is investigating the mysterious death of a fellow officer. He visits the scene of the incident, the former Yasuda Gardens, with his subordinate, June Erio, like I just said. So let's see what's happening with Tetsuo Tsutsumi. 11 p.m. The former Yasuda Gardens. Let's get to know where you are, who you are, and when you are. I'll admit that's not every morning for me. Hey, boss. Forensics is all done. The crime scene is clean. The other officers have all gone home. It's just us now. The park should be able to open back up tomorrow, like nothing ever happened. I doubt it'll get many visitors after everything that's happened. You'd be surprised. Lots of people love that kind of thing. I bet they'll all be lining up to get in. Occult stuff is really popular right now. Did you not know that, boss? Sounds stupid. I remember this era where, like, psychics being part of murder and missing person investigations was a really big thing. And I think this is around that era. I saw a lot more in the US than I saw in, like, it's not like I would have ever seen it in Japan. I don't know. I don't know if they trusted psychics in Japan with actual murder mysteries. I know that happened at least in the US, and to the point where it gets included in the media. And one of my favorite things to watch was a few, like, fake psychics being debunked and being asked to find a missing person, then them saying, oh, they're gone, they're dead. I'm sorry, there will not be any finding this person. Only for it to be revealed that that person was in the exact same diner they were with, or it was the person interviewing them. And I think they were actually involved in several missing person cases. So, you know, not great, not a good look. Well, it's not exactly rooted in science, but if ghosts really did exist, we could just ask them who the perp is. Somehow I doubt it'd be that simple. Oh, but you know, I've heard that high school girls are really into the spirit board thing these days. Supposedly you can call on spirits and talk to them by using a board with letters on it. Wouldn't that be something? You can try out yourself if you're so interested. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Let's give it a go sometime, boss. What now? Stop messing around. You really think we're gonna solve this case by moving a coin across the scrap of paper? He knows. He knows exactly what they are. Sounds like you know all of... Oh, that's who was... This is where the pouty lips came from that I was wondering about. Why is this a thing? Was that a thing? Is that how people actually, like, you know, talk? I don't see that often. Sounds like you know all about it. We've got to be open-minded. What if that's how police's work is going to be done from now on? Don't make me laugh. Listen up, Ario. Freaking pout. You can't go blaming the death of your buddy on something like the occult. Except I get not blaming ghosts. Except not in this world. We know in this world the occult is real and it's a thing and there's curses and they murder people. However, if your buddy comes across 2 cult members that sacrifices him, like to summon a demon, that's occulty, and you can blame the occult on your buddy's death at that point, I think. At least I think so. I don't care if it was ghosts or the occult or what. Whoever or whatever it was that did this, I'll get them. I promise you that. Well, you got the right attitude, but we don't even know if this is a murder yet. Biases weaken our judgment. Get too fixated on one thing and you stop seeing everything else. Aye, aye, boss. So, now that we've finished investigating the scene, let's review what we know. Huh? What now? It's getting late. I figured we'd head straight home from here. Come on. We gotta go over all the info we've gathered. And what better place to do that than here at the scene of the crime, where we can soak up the most, soak up all the atmosphere. Why do I want to add words? Why do I keep trying to add words? I'm reading. Just read the words. Soak up the atmosphere. The hell's there to soak up? You must be really into this occult stuff if you get off on being in a place like this. Wait. You mean being somewhere like this doesn't get your blood pumping? No way. No, don't turn this around on me. I'm not the weird one here. Cripes. I'm not weird. You're weird. Don't think I'm weird because I don't want to do the weird thing that you want to do. You're the weird one. Fine. Let's get this over with. Aye, aye, boss. Okay. Cool. The former Yasuda Gardens here in Yokohama Ichome were originally built as part of a daimyo's estate back in the Edo period. The park became city property a number of years ago and underwent extensive renovations. There's not a soul around at this time of night. Quiet doesn't even begin to describe it. Okay. Jun Ario, a detective in the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. First Investigative Division. His rank is Sergeant. This is his first time leading a case. It's like he's graduated from rookie to newbie. He looks put together on the outside, but acts like a kid most of the time. Honestly, the force could use more people like him. And wait, why? Why could the force use more people like him? Are people supposed to just look really clean and act like a child? Does that make a good police officer in this time? This pond, they say it used to flow into the Sumida River. But the river became so polluted that they cut it off. Okay, we've heard that. We actually heard that during Haruo Shigima's story. I want to see if there's anything I missed in the background. There could be like a rock. Oh, wait, what? Scene? Like that. This is where the scene was found. It's clean now. It's almost like nothing happened here at all. But once an incident like this has come to pass, there's no going back. Not that knowing this is any consolation. Why am I staring at your junk? Alright, anything else in the surroundings? The pond. It leaves us to ponder. Okay. Let's talk about the case. So, early in the morning yesterday, the staff member found the victim collapsed here in the park and called the police when they realized he was dead. It looks like he had a heart attack. I like his outfit though. That's cool. They have the small pocket on the left side also. I only have it on the right side. I kind of want 2 of those. Those are really nice to put like small things like coins and keys, small keys, individual keys, not like your whole key ring. I have a lot of keys. I also like his jacket. These jackets are always really cool to me. While there were no obvious external wounds, the fact that he was a police officer and the evidence of a struggle means it's likely that this was a murder. The Samita office sent it over to us since it involved the death of an officer, and we were tasked with the investigation. What we need to do is figure out what happened and whether there was foul play involved. I think that about sums it up. Okay. Why do I have to keep clicking on the case? Can we just get through all of it at the same time? I mean, I guess we can just go back and forth between different things if we get bored. But, boss.
Yeah?
Is this case really important enough to assign to someone from the investigation division? I mean, a friend of mine died, so it's important to me, but...
It's all up to the higher-ups. I'm sure they've got their reasons.
I mean, a police officer died. That's pretty high priority for the cops usually, isn't it? Boss, you know something, don't you?
It'll all become clear in time. Try not to think about it too much.
Thinking about it. The only thing we know for sure is the identity of the victim. That means there must be something special about him, right? Well, he's a cop. And maybe he knew something he wasn't supposed to. Some kind of secret or something. Isn't that right?
You're pretty sharp sometimes, you know that? If you've picked up on that, you should be able to put the rest together yourself.
Okay, so he does know something. Well, it's our duty to get to the bottom of a suspicious death, especially one investigating our own. I think that's what that said. I didn't fully read that. I guess I could have clicked it again and gone back. The victim is Hajime Yoshimi of the Juvenile Division of the Sumida City Community Safety Bureau. He's 27 years old, single. He mostly dealt with cases involving juveniles and education. His rank was senior police officer.
You knew him well, didn't you? What was he like?
Yes, we were in the academy together. We still went out for drinks together every month or two. He could be a little rowdy, but he was like a big brother to us all. He was kind and cared about his friends. For better or worse, he wasn't the uptight type of cop. The man always showed empathy, and I heard he was popular with the locals for it. He looks like he was a delinquent. Like the delinquent that went straight and then became a cop, and he's the more caring delinquent cop guy. You know, kind of like GTO becoming a teacher and relating to people, especially the delinquent types, because he was a delinquent. He treated each and every troubled kid he met with compassion. He had a great track record when it came to rehabilitation.
Sounds like we lost a good one.
Yeah, we did. We truly did. I knew being a cop was dangerous. I knew something like this could happen, but
it's never easy when it happens for real. I know the feeling.
He didn't seem to care much about climbing the ranks, but he was at the top of our class. Only problem was that he took on so much. He had the most unfinished paperwork too. I always felt we'd need an unusual guy like him to help us solve all our unusual cases. So he was an awesome dude. Why did he have to die?
Don't worry, you're plenty unusual yourself.
Me? I was the most normal of my classmates. Besides, the real weirdo among us quit the academy a long time ago. Now who was that?
There's one even weirder than you.
Who quit? Hajime was quite the bad boy in school, apparently. He ended up with the police a lot. See? He was a delinquent, and he helped delinquents. Hopefully he helped them get on the right track. He said the officer in charge was good to him, helped him get back on track. The reason he wanted to become a cop was to pay his kindness forward. So it was the first time he ever took his studies seriously.
That's a good story. Love that kind of thing. Makes me want to have a drink in his honor.
Please don't make fun of my dead friend.
Hey, I said his honor. You should aspire to become the kind of cop people miss when they die in the field.
And you say that like it's a sure thing I'll die. Well, everyone dies. Besides, if I end up biting it, I'm sure you'll be the one who misses me the most, boss.
Huh?
Come on, don't be like that. You'll hurt my morale.
Well, I guess how much I miss you depends on how this investigation goes.
I can already see it. Ario, no! Why did you have to go and kill yourself? Get yourself killed. I read that. Am I dyslexic? I might be. No, I'm not. Things would be way worse if I was actually dyslexic. I just have trouble reading sometimes.
I have no idea what's going on in that head of yours.
Yeah, that'll be a sight to see. Can't wait.
You can't wait for your own death? Get it together, kid. Sheesh, you really are something.
Thank you? I didn't want to look at him. I wanted to talk to him.
What about the victim's family?
The Yoshimi family is from Kitasenju in Adachi City, but Hajime's parents died a long time ago. He lived there all alone, no siblings or anything. I went to his house a few times for drinks. I was surprised. It was this huge old-looking place. Like, you know, the kind of place that seems super haunted.
And he lived there alone?
It looked like the home of an old noble family. It was hard to imagine him being such a delinquent and living in a house like that.
There's that bias I was talking about. If he's from an old family, I'm sure things were complicated.
That's a bias too. He never talked about any of that, even when we were drunk. So I don't know much about it. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah?
Hajime was engaged. He'd been seeing his fiancée ever since they were in school, over 10 years ago. They just started talking about getting married. What was her name again? He showed me a picture once. She was a beautiful woman.
That's so? How terrible for her.
I feel like that the fiancé is either going to be a character we get to know in more stories, or we've met already, maybe, somewhere, or seen. Maybe during Shogo's story, there's like something about some woman.
But she may know if there'd be anything going on with him lately. We should speak to her.
Yeah, his fiancé may have been his only confidant. I'm sure someone at the Sumida Police Department has already contacted her. I'll look into it tomorrow. Hey, boss. I looked into the case that Hajime was running.
Oh, great. That's the kind of stuff I want to know. What was Hajime working on the day he died?
Well, according to this report from the day before, he had 2 cases involving juveniles.
Uh-huh.
The first was the suicide of a high school girl who jumped off of a building in Kamizawa last week. That's one of Yako's friends. That's Yako's friend. Not one of them. Well, it is one of her friends, because I guess she's also friends with Mio. But yeah, I think that's Yako's friend that they say committed suicide, but she probably got pushed off the roof by the one teacher dude that's creepy and was there after school with the other girl.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
The girl's name was Michio Shiraishi. Okay, so it is her friend. I should just continue the story instead of just jumping to conclusions first. She was a second-year student at Komagata High School, but seems as though Hajime had contact with her even before this incident.
Huh. So she'd been troubled for some time.
That's the thing. About a month ago, he happened to see her walking around town. She looked upset, so he struck up a conversation with her. He was sure there was something bothering her, but she wouldn't tell him what.
Must have been trouble at home.
That's what we thought too. It seems he visited her home and spoke to her parents, but they said there was no problem, so there was nothing else he could do. and now she's dead.
That's possible. He could have prevented a suicide then.
He must have been devastated. And that's why he was looking into this Michio Shiraishi again. He must have thought that something terrible had happened that drove her to the end of her life. But ultimately, he never reported the findings of his investigation.
I see. You're thinking it may have had something to do with his death. We'll have to find out what it is Hajime discovered.
Right? Let's check with the Sumida Police Department about that tomorrow too. We're saying a lot about tomorrow. I don't know that anyone makes it to tomorrow.
And what was the other case he was working on?
This one is also related to a Komagata High School student. Well, Komagata High student. A troublemaker named Hitomi Okuda. She seems to be leader of a group of kids who get up to no good. That looks like the girl we saw at the school as Yako, with that one teacher dude that kept saying he was being threatened. This girl wants to end his life. And I think he pushed Michio off the roof.
Juvenile delinquency. Fun.
She was pretty bad for a while. Multiple charges of destruction of property, assault and battery, you name it. Hajime had been working with her for about 6 months. And she was finally starting to open up. Then he met with the girl the day he died.
Well, every school's got its problems. But I'm sure he'd be worried about how she'd get on without him.
Right. Just when she'd finally found an adult she could trust, she might act out without someone to help her get through this.
Well,
Yeah. It's hard to do voices sometimes. I need water.
We'll have to make sure the Sumida Community Safety Bureau does their job. But we can't rule out the possibility that meeting with this delinquent girl had something to do with his death. Then we'll have to interview her too.
Yes, you're right. She may have been the last person to see him alive after all. I'll ask Sumida to introduce us tomorrow. Though, who knows if they'll actually let us talk to her.
That's what we hired you for. Lay a little boyish charm on them if they need convincing.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd prefer me over a scary looking old man like you, boss.
Watch it, I'm still your superior. You ought to act like you respect me at least.
Oh, I thought I was. That is not respectful. Hey, dude. They like me more than you because you're scary and ugly and old.
You were shit. Is that just how your generation speaks? You really are a new breed.
It's probably just me, actually.
Oh, well, don't think you can get away with that with other people.
So anyways, boss.
Were you even listening?
I like the facial expressions. I know I'm giving Ariel shit for having duck lips, but they do a good job with the drawings and the facial expressions for a lot of the characters. And the art's really good. I love the style. The sketchy dry brush lines is a style I really enjoy. We've got quite a bit to look into tomorrow. Yeah, we're putting everything off tomorrow. But that makes sense because it's almost midnight. First, the 2 Komagata High School cases that Hajime was handling. And we need to speak with his fiancée as well. I believe that's it for tomorrow. Got a list of stuff to do tomorrow. As for the cause of death, we won't know until the autopsy is done. From what we've seen, though, it appears to be some kind of acute heart failure. That's what I said! But since he had no record of chronic illness and no visible wounds, it's possible that poison or drugs could have been involved.
Dying in the middle of a park like that. It certainly seems suspicious.
We found signs of a struggle at the scene, as well as footprints belonging to an unidentified individual. We've got people trying to identify those prints.
if we can find out who they belong to, we might be able to figure this whole thing out.
Yes, wouldn't that be nice if that were the end of it? The only things Hajime had on him were his badge and his wallet in his pockets.
So we can rule out a mugging. Though there probably aren't many people who think to try mugging a cop as big as him.
I've also heard that Hajime got into a fair few fights in his younger days. He started judo once he became an officer and rose up the ranks quickly.
Sounds like the perp would have to have been pretty strong to take on Hajime.
I mean, yeah, big dude like that knows judo. Either that or a surprise attack, but there's no wounds, at least nothing they could see. So autopsy will reveal all. Then again, we know that there's curses that can end lives without any touching, so most likely that's what happened.
Time of death
was around 11 p.m. 2 days ago, outside of the park's operating hours, of course. His body was found early in the morning yesterday.
11 p.m., the day before yesterday. What was Hajime doing out here at that time in the first place?
That's the question, isn't it? The entrance to the park is closed after hours, but it's a small gate that'd be fairly easy for him to get through, if he really wanted to. That would, of course, be breaking and entering, but what do you think, boss? Someone called him here. He came here to hide something. I'd say someone had to have called him there. Because, he's caring. It doesn't seem like a bad cop. If he was a bad cop, I'd say he had something to hide.
It's hard to imagine a cop like Hajime would trespass for no reason. And since it seems like someone else was here with him, could they have called him here?
Oh, that does seem likely. They must have been talking about... God, I'm messing up their voices. I gotta read the name first. Not out loud, just, so I know who's talking.
They must have been talking about something pretty sensitive to come here in the middle of the night. So Hajime met someone here to discuss something in secret.
And then they got into a fight?
No, that wouldn't match the cause of death. There were no wounds on the body. That would indicate a spontaneous scuffle. The perp must have planned something.
Do you think it was meditated? That would mean they called Hajime to the park with the intent to kill him. I like that sound effect. That was good.
Well, there is still the possibility that it was just some kind of accident. Maybe the perp tried to threaten Hajime, and things went south from there. We should be able to get a clearer picture once we know exactly what killed him.
Right?
Alright.
But either way, I'm so glad you're back in the First Division, boss. I've always admired your work. You were like a god to me. You were the whole reason I became a detective in the first place.
Oh yeah, about that. People have been saying that ever since you had first entered the academy, but...
Yes, that's because it's true. I couldn't believe you got transferred out of the first, just as I was assigned to it. So getting to work a case like this now, just the two of us, is a dream come true.
Happy as I am to hear that, well, how should I put it?
What is it? If that's true,
I'm not sure you've been showing me the appropriate amount of respect.
Huh? But I do respect you. Don't tell me you're going senile, boss.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, when you run your mouth like that.
It's getting late. You must be sleepy. Basically, he's saying, you're getting kind of grouchy, old man. Maybe you're tired and you need to go to sleep. Is it past your bedtime?
Oh, is it past your bedtime, Tatsumi?
Very respectful. Most respectful guy in the world. Don't worry, boss. I'll make sure we get out of here soon.
Yeah, I get it.
I've been wowed by your shrewd detecting abilities all day today. Oh, really?
Funny. I've been wowed by you too.
Cool. Good. That's great.
On the topic of family, what's yours like, boss? The hell's wrong with you? Prying into my personal life all of a sudden?
Hair in my eyes. It's just, I've never heard you talk about them or anything. How long have they known each other? Oh, are you single?
Shut it. That's none of your business.
Like, seriously, how long have they been working together? Is this their first case together? Because it sounds like they've hung out a lot, at least. Enough to where they'd start divulging personal relationships and life stuff. Which I don't usually do. Not when I'm working. Usually when I'm working jobs, it's not until like I've worked with a person for a couple weeks. But that could just be me. I don't like talking that much. Despite doing this thing that I'm doing now, where all I do is talk. Anyway,
shut it. That's none of your business.
Well, ever since I joined the force, I've been thinking. The department really pressures young officers to get married. I wonder why that is. You don't say anything like that, though. I mean, I can see it. Although, I don't know. It feels like, I mean, especially if you're a young detective, you should have a lot more of your life settled. That way you have more, like, maybe they assume he'll have more time to be a detective if the rest of his life is settled and fine, and or maybe he'll care more about cases because he has someone to care for instead of just being like alone and stuff. Though I from what I've heard, or maybe it's a movie cliche. It seems like a movie cliche. And I might want to look this up later, where detectives and police officers get into especially as you go further into the force and spend more time working cases, it can really strain your relationships. So maybe they want him to have a solid relationship now, so they can strain it later and it'll be stronger and stay together. Or who knows what. I don't know anything about being an officer. I've never been one.
How should I know? I caved to the pressure myself and got married 20-some years ago.
Huh? So then...
God, you're relentless. She took our daughter and left 4 years ago. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't believe she'd give up on a guy like you.
I was never home much. Too focused on work.
There it is, the grizzled, amazing detective that worked way too much, which I guess is a thing that can happen in any field. If you're too concentrated on work and not enough on your relationship, it kind of makes the relationship end.
I'd come home late only to get called right back out again. Plus, being a cop is dangerous work.
That would be very worrisome. Like, maybe it's too much on his partner to worry all the time if he's actually going to come home.
I don't blame her for getting fed up with it at all.
How sad. Especially when you're out here, putting your life on the line. Oh, is that why you transferred out of the first?
It was already too late by then. You better be careful, Ario.
You say that, but there's not much I can do, is there? That's the nature of our job. There aren't many who can really understand it, not unless they're involved with police work themselves, or related to someone who is. But wait, you have a daughter, boss?
You really think I want to talk about her after all that? Have some sense.
Come on. I promised I don't mean this the way it sounds, but how old is she?
Geez, you don't know when to quit, do you? At least try not to look so intrigued. She's, well, a bit rough around the edges. I think most men are intimidated by her. Last I heard, she's living by herself and going to college.
Wow, a college student. Men love an educated lady.
Stop that! What kind of cop are you? Making baseless assumptions like that.
She's living on her own, though? You must worry about her.
Worry? I don't even know where she lives.
Oh, so she hasn't told you. Probably because she knows you'd follow her around everywhere.
I would not. don't think.
Come on now, we both know that's not true.
Listen here.
You may look like a mean old man, but you sure have a soft side.
Is that supposed to be a compliment? I can't keep up with you. We're done talking about this.
Are they done talking about it? It seems like we're not done talking about it. We still have more about Tsutsumi to learn. Oh, that reminds me. If you got married 20 years ago, it must have been right around the Nejima murder. That's the one that we talked about with, like, Haruwe, right? Is that? No. That's not that. That's a different murder. Or I think we at least discussed it during Haruwe Shigima's storyline. Like, it was the last really horrific case that happened before her son was killed.
You know the history, yeah. That happened a year or two after our wedding.
You're the one who arrested... Oh, right. That's the one that Haruwe found the body that helped solve the case. You were the one who arrested the killer, weren't you? We studied that case at the academy. I was only in elementary school at the time, but I still remember people talking about some dangerous criminal getting arrested.
All that was just... cracking the case, finding the guy. It was all just happenstance.
Because it all, like, started off with Haruwe finding the hand, I think, of her friend.
I'd rather not think about it. It was a disturbing case. Did it not make your skin crawl? When you learned about it at the academy?
It did. We were all terrified.
Sounds about right. No one could believe that such a mild-mannered man could have committed such a terrible murder. If we had overlooked one little thing, we may never have caught him at all.
That's right, they could only pin it on the one murder on him because they couldn't find evidence of others. I think I remember hearing there was only one charge brought against him at the end. There it is. That's right.
We didn't have the evidence. I knew there was no way such a meticulously planned crime could have been there first, but we may have stuck Fumichika Nejima in his cell. There was no victory. He always had the upper hand. And all that damage he did to everyone involved, especially the victim's classmates. It's already been 20 years, huh? God damn it. This is why I try not to think about it.
I'm sorry. Ooh. Yeah, that's from Harue's case. She found the body, and she's the classmate he's talking about. So, all this occult stuff, have you heard about it, boss?
What are you talking about?
This rite of resurrection thing that everyone's talking about.
No, not you two. I've been hearing about that shit everywhere.
Oh, you have? That's surprising.
Who cares what people are talking about? It's got nothing to do with our job.
But don't you think the occult stuff with this case feels, I don't know, realer somehow? That's because it is real. He got killed by the occult shit. The whole thing started right here in Honjo in Sumida City. So I thought that maybe...
Cut it out. Nothing good could come from getting involved with that rite or whatever, or that record of fates.
It sounds like you know all about it. Boss, are you secretly into the occult?
Stop that. Seriously, this isn't a joke. I get why you'd be intrigued by something called the Rite of Resurrection after a buddy of yours died, but bringing the dead back to life? That's the stuff of fantasy. It's not real. So don't go hoping for miracles, got it?
Well, boss, I think that about does it.
Right. Let's call it for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh! Oh God, what is that?
Huh, boss? What's wrong? Don't tell me you're going senile.
Damn it. It was that case all along.
True lie? Do not be fooled. It is not. It is no rumor. Believe me. See the truth. Boss? What is it? Why are we getting the right? Why is Tatsume getting the right? It seems like Ario would have more motive to get the right of resurrection. What is it? Is there something over there?
Grr! Such deep sorrow. A resentful memory.
Okay. Okay. I thought we were about to die.
Kill them! Kill them! Those who spread lies! Kill them all!
You have acquired the power of the curse stone, the Evergreen Beach. You can use it to kill those who intentionally try to mislead you. Press the use curse button when someone lies to you. We're not killing June. So who's the first victim?
A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar.
Who does he want to bring back? Is there someone that he wants to bring back? Does there have to be somebody he wants to bring back?
Can you hear it, curse bearer? You who so strongly desires the right.
So he does want to resurrect someone. That's why he knows so much about the occult, the right of resurrection, spirit boards. Tatsumi actually wants to bring someone back, but who? I don't think he was telling the truth about his wife and daughter. Either that or that victim. Boss! Or something in the case.
Boss, what's the matter? Don't tell me you really went senile. Sorry. I'm fine.
Why does he keep thinking we're going senile? Is this how people go senile? They faint?
Ario.
Yes?
I have some bad news.
Oh no, your senility's kicking in, isn't it?
No! We've got a bit of trouble on our hands. Looks like we'll be working some overtime. We're not going home tonight.
Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, because he now knows there is occult stuff involved. And I think he knows the rites of resurrection. He knows of the different mysteries of Honjo that could be involved. And he now knows how, what's his face died? Hajime. Let me see, it was Hajime, right? Well, let's see what our curse is. The Evergreen Beach, an enduring superstition. Once upon a time in North Okurabashi, a beautiful beech tree stood in the garden of Lord Shinden's residence, now known as the former Yasuda Gardens. It was so impressive that the house became known among the people as the beach residence. Somehow, no one had ever seen a single leaf fall from the tree. As rumors spread of the eternally green tree, it became known as the Evergreen Beach. However, this particular species of tree was actually an evergreen, so the lack of fallen leaves was nothing out of the ordinary. This has led people to say that the strangest part of this legend is the fact that it even became a legend at all. Kills by hanging one who tries to mislead the curse bearer with false statements. A resentful member. He deceives us with his so-called right of resurrection. The man who tricked the people with his false dark arts swings from a rope. They thought the man had escaped the previous night, but oddly enough, he was found hanging in the garden of the daimyo's mansion that morning. The man, a local named Jinkichi, was known for his kind temperament and skill in crafting netsuke clasps. While his life wasn't always easy, he was optimistic. The type of smile through whatever life threw at him. He was the kind of man who would take care of those who didn't have anyone else to rely on. The prosperity of the ukiyo-e boom oh god, my brain farted there. The prosperity that the ukiyo-e boom brought must have been what fanned the flames of his greed. It's okay. Alright. The old craftsman was found in a miserable state, as if sentenced to some cruel fate. Perhaps he'd ended his own life, unable to bear the weight of his crime. But dead men tell no tales, and the people thought of him as a bad man even in death. He hung there for days till his neck stretched horrifically. A vestige of pain still etched on his face. It was clear he must have struggled greatly as he died. His flesh marked with dark scars where the rope wrapped around his body. Whole body. Okay. So it's not like hanging by his neck. He was just hung. But it said it around his whole body, but it stretched out his neck. The beech tree's leaves do not fall, and neither did the man's body hanging from it. As the mansion's owner was not at home, another unfortunate event, the people held their tongues, fearing divine punishment, but the rumors persisted nonetheless. Okay, so we have a whole lot here. There's notes on Michio Hiraishi and Hajime Yoshimi. That's the friend that died. That's good to know. Anyway, that's all the time that I've got today. This is really cool. I'll continue with the Tetsuo's story next week, as usual. I only have time for like one of these a week because they usually take a long time. And I'm not really editing these ones because I just want to get through I like the story. I want to get through it. I want to share it with you guys. And if you want to get through the story faster on your own and not have to wait till next week, links in the description to play the game yourself. But with that, I want to thank you all for hanging out, watching me and my horrible voices as I play this game. And with that, remember the world's chaos. So go out and be magnanimous. I'll see you all next time. Later!